Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Nutrauskas. Today's the 29th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here on Twitch. You can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our videos, and also our JFD research page on our JFD Bank website. So yep, feel free to check us out, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE 100. Now, looking at this picture here, I mean, of course, the bulls are quite happy here. The ones who are trying to short this market today, I mean, they're probably getting squeezed and getting crushed. So looking at this, I mean, for now, of course, all this is looking quite positive for FTSE. I mean, the British pound is falling, is moving to the downside. Maybe currently it's trying to recover some of its losses, but still it is very weak. It is, of course, we do have the ongoing Brexit talks, and of course they're not working in the in Britain's favor, so that's why the British pound is taking a huge hit today. So for now, looking at this technical picture here on the FTSE 100, you can see that the index managed to travel all the way towards the 7,707 zone. This was one of our targets that we had, one of our targets where which I've mentioned, if we would see a push above the 7,590 level. So we did get that push today. It traveled all the way higher, broke some of these other key resistance areas. And if I jump into a daily chart on this one, this is a weekly, this is a daily chart, so you can see that the index traveled all the way here towards the low of the 8th of August 2018. So basically around a year ago we were at these levels. So now the index is back to this area, and you can see that this is what's holding it down for now. Let's see if it continues to hold, but to be honest, even if we see a bit of a move to the downside here, this could be treated as a possible correction before another leg of buying, and especially if the price remains above the 7,635 zone, 35.25 around there, guys. So keep your eyes on this area. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, like I said, yes, it did have a nice, fantastic push to the upside here. Whoever managed to catch this trade, I mean, that's wonderful for them. But now, I mean, probably would be a little bit too late, let's say, to start jumping in on this one. Let's wait for a pullback, a throwback, and then we could see a potential another move higher. So keep your eyes on this one. In terms of let's say the downside here, I mean, if this suddenly drops back below the let me just get rid of this downside line, no longer relevant. If it drops back below the 7,590 level, this is where we could aim for some slightly lower areas, and of course we're gonna be very careful here. I mean, this could in a way slide towards the 7,470 zone, but to be honest, for now we are kind of excluding the downside scenario unless it drops below the 7,590 zone. So for now, any move lower could be seen as a small correction before another leg of buying. DXY, very quickly on this one. So the dollar index continues to accelerate here, continues to push higher, and the next target here for us is around the 98.28 zone, something like that, approximately there, marked by the high of the 30th of May. Slightly above that, we do have the 98.37, which is the high of the 23rd of May. So basically, this level here, the 98.37, is the highest point of May this year. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, we're not far from the highs of the 30th of May. So this is going to be our first target. For now, it seems everything's looking quite positive for the DXY here. So let's see how this is going to perform. Of course, don't get me wrong, at some point we could see a correction back to the downside, but maybe the correction could come, let's say, closer to the middle of this week, or even closer to the end of this week, when we do have the FOMC this week on Wednesday, and the of course the non-farm payrolls in the on Friday. So that's why for now we could see this one accelerating higher, and maybe it could stall somewhere around here, and then maybe we could see another correction to the downside, unless it decides to correct now, travels to test this area here near the 97.80, fails to drop below this, and this could be seen as a nice bouncing ground for the bulls to step in here and drive this one back to the upside. So that's why for now we're keeping this idea in mind. We could see a bit of correction here, but for now, of course, just at this current point in time, it is trying to continue push higher. So let's see how it performs there. Euro USD, so this remains flat, and this continues to remain flat. This is what I was talking about this morning. Basically, we need to see a drop below this 1.11 level here before we could aim for lower areas. I mean, the outlook still remains the same for us here. We are still we're cautiously bearish on this one, but just waiting for that confirmation break below the 1.11 zone before kind of aiming for lower areas. In terms of the upside, still the same level remains for us, the 1.1190 zone. This is when we will start considering higher levels, but just for that better confirmation, then a push above the 1.1225 could in a way do the trick for the bulls here, and we could see this one climbing further up here towards the 1.1280 or even higher. But for now, it's closer to the downside, and the scenario here is more likely to be bearish rather than bullish, and I'm talking, of course, about the short term. So keep your eyes on this one. GBPUSD. Now this took a hit. This took a hit today, and I mean, you can see that it traveled all the way here towards the S3, our S3, today's S3, which is around the 1.2235 zone, 37, something like that, approximately there. And you can see that it took a massive hit. I mean, after breaking this area here near the 1.2366 zone, it continued to slide, and well, I mean, it dropped below the 1.23 level. So the big question here is, can it stay below the 1.23? Will the bears be able to keep it below the 1.23 zone, or actually will we get a nice recovery here and a push back above the 1.23? So for now, basically, long story short, is that keep an eye on today's daily candle and how it's going to close and where it's going to close, because that's going to be quite interesting. Of course, at some point we could see a bit of correction here, because to be honest, I mean, we are very oversold here, but of course all the Brexit negotiations are still, or I shouldn't say negotiations, there are no negotiations, but all the Brexit madness, let's put it that way, continues to is still ongoing. So that's why the pound, the British pound, is still vulnerable. It still kind of could be affected, even though we are at oversold levels. Still, it could continue traveling lower. So that's why for now, be very careful with this one. Of course, at this point in time, we are quite oversold. We could see maybe a bit of correction here, maybe back towards the 1.23 level to test it from underneath, and then we'll take it from there, see what he wants to do. Because as you can see, the pair today broke below the 1.2310, which is the high of March 15th, 2017. So it was an important level, but now, yep, I mean, it traveled all the way to test the S3, and of course, now the big question here is, can we see a bit of correction here to the upside? If that happens, then it will be very interesting to see if it will find some resistance here somewhere maybe near the 1.23 zone, or maybe if it'll decide to push higher, then we could see this one climbing back towards the 1.2395, or even maybe back to this downside resistance line. But for now, of course, be very careful with this one. We do have the BOE this week, so also be very careful around there. EURGBP. So this leads us into EURGBP, and this, of course, is well, This is what I was talking about. This is what I was talking about basically this morning, and we were already trading kind of around this 0.90 level, so it managed to break it to the upside. You can see that it traveled all the way higher here, almost managed to reach the R2. R2 R3, which was around the 0.9087, something like that area, and now you can see that the bears are trying to fight back, trying to push this one back down. Let's see if they're capable to kind of, let's say, bringing the pair back below the 0.9062 zone, because that's the January 11th high, this year's January 11th high. So if it drops back below this, then I mean, in a way, the bears could have a chance for maybe pushing this one a little bit back down, maybe for some a bit of correction here to the downside. But overall, of course, this is looking quite strong. I mean, we could see something like this happening, so keep your eyes on the 0.9062 level today. Let's see how this is gonna play out. For now, you can see that the bears are trying to get this one back down. And sorry, this is the level that I'm talking about, the 0.9051. Apologies. I mean, this is the level right now. This is the 62. It's getting closer to that area right now, but the 0.9051 area, that was the high, the previous high of July, and now it could play out as a nice area of support. So keep your eyes on this one. It's going to be very interesting to watch. If suddenly, let's say, this drops back below the 0.9037 zone, in a way we could maybe see a slightly deeper correction here to the downside. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful with this. It's like I said, it did explode here to the upside. Maybe we still have some, maybe it still has some gunpowder left to travel further up. That's why we're gonna just continue observing this one. We're not gonna touch this one today, and just gonna watch the price action here and see what it wants to do. If it wants to drop below the 0.9062, the next level that we're gonna be targeting is the 0.9051, which is the previous high of July, and which could in a way play out as a nice area of support. So keep your eyes on that one. Okay, guys, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching it till the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, as always, that's 6 o'clock GMT time. We'll have a look at some of these pairs. Definitely, we're going to have a look at GBP, USD, and the EURGBP to see how they've performed. But for now, I hope you have, guys, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.